We're back. Denise, Ramon, and I are, and Erik, of course,
Yes.
main character, the star. We're going to continue with part two of Astral Traveling. Denise Ramon, her information is down below. She does more than just channel beautifully. So we've got these questions, but actually, before we ask Sandra's questions on astral projection, I want to see if you can pull in my father-in-law, Oswald Medhus, because we were talking about in part one how Erik would love to go to astral project to Norway, and that's the first place he went to after he left his body for good, to sit with his grandfather in Norway, and they just had such a beautiful connection, and now they're connected up there. Up, I don't know if he's even up, but so Oswald Medhus. I just was my husband wants to know how his death was, what his transition was like.
I got chills all up and down my legs.
Yeah.
Erik is with him, and
Hi,
he says he's just doing this like he was very old as an age wise, because he's coming to me looking that way to let me know that yes, this is him, but he's not old at all, like ability wise and all that. So he's him and Erik are playing is what they're doing. So he says to address his crossing, his death, he said, it appeared to look like it was long and drawn out and horrible and painful and all of this. He says, but it really wasn't. He says, for me, we knew he said, I knew that it was time for me to start transitioning. So he's showing me a sister. Did he have a sister?
Oh, yeah. Sisters, yeah.
Because he's showing me his sister came to help him, along with his mother came to help him. And it was almost like to let him know, like, yes, we're here, we're not gone, and to help him. And he says to bring him comfort, he says. He also had some animals there that he had as a little boy that meant a lot to him, that were helping him. He also says Erik was also there helping him.
What about Metzler, your wife? Was she there eventually?
Oh, yes. It's almost like she was here, and all those others I mentioned were here. It's like she was the one facilitating how they're supposed to stand, where they're to stand, where they're to be, and that. Yes. He tells me his wife was humming such a beautiful tune, like this
probably Norwegian song.
Well, I was going to say I don't even understand it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Earth. I was going to say it wasn't Earth-like, but maybe that's what it is. It's Norwegian. He tells me, or she's telling me, it was their wedding song. The music, yeah. So but he said it was beautiful. He said,
it wasn't the classic white tunnel. It was just like people appeared before you, maybe in a white room, maybe in.
Well, he says it's all bright. It's all really bright. And when you say white, it's not like white, like paper, like copy paper. It's this brilliant whiteness, this light that's just,
wow,
just full of peace and love. And it's
been fun. That's, I think, the main thing that everybody wants to know, who loves you. And there's so many who do, that love you, that we know it must have been scary because you felt like you had so much to do still. And but we know you're doing stuff from the other side, continuing.
Well, that's what he said, that he's able to do more on the other side because he has more tools. because he was kind of limited what he was
Yeah.
doing here.
Yeah.
So now he's not. He has more tools,
Awesome.
and he doesn't get tired. He doesn't get exhausted, and he's
Mm.
doing this. He says he has come by Rune and like whispered in his ear or something. So I don't know if Rune had felt warmth around him or something. But he's definitely been around him.
Okay.
Was he like did he like to prank people or like tease people or something?
Well, he had a bit of he was a little joke teller. He would say something that he thought was funny. Sometimes it wasn't. And he just kind of grinned like, what do you think about that? All right, we better go on with these though.
Okay.
Can we go anywhere in the universe and beyond? Oh, thank you. Hvordan har du det? Bestefar? Good? Ra?
Yes, he said. Yeah, he says, and tell everybody I'm doing well. And Erik is saying, Mom, he's right where he's supposed to be. And he says we've already been out for a few drinks, and
whoa, that's funny.
So
he
yeah,
was a teetotaler, right? One day I want to ask why he was a teetotaler. It was a big deal. Something happened in his life, but right now, no, we're not going to ask that because we don't have time.
He says don't ask that and have it on video.
No, yeah, no. Okay. Can we go anywhere in the universe and beyond, or are our souls tethered to a certain boundary?
That's a good question.
I love it. My peeps are.
I know.
I love them so much.
I just love it when people think like that. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating. It depends. It depends on the person, where they are, how grounded they are in their everyday life. Erik says it's where they're grounded, how grounded they are in their everyday life. Because the main part about this traveling, your higher self doesn't want you to travel too far to where you have a hard time being here.
Yeah. Makes
sense. So depending on how grounded you are, it depends on how far you can go. Can you go outside of this universe and to wherever? Erik says there are a few people who can.
Okay. Takes practice, I'm sure. That's advanced level stuff. All right. This is along the same lines. Lots of people mention a silver cord that attaches you to your body so that you can't get lost. Some say that if you cut that cord, how do you do that? You can't get back into your body. And I have even heard of bodies then being taken over by walk-ins. So entities without a body. Is that true? Or are you just dead when it's cut? Ugh. Taken over by walk-ins, so you're like an entity without a body?
That is so interesting because Erik is saying...
Can you cut the silver cord, Erik? Without dying? I think that's just death makes that happen.
No. He says, no, you can't cut it and not die.
Okay.
Erik says, yes, there have been occasions where another soul's like going shopping. It's like going through the thrift store, and it's like, wow. Take that body. Yeah, there was a show. Yeah, there was a show, and I don't know if it still is. I don't know if it's on Netflix or Prime, called Travelers. And it was about, and it was done in Canada, but it was about people, they call it host bodies, and they were hosting other people's bodies, and doing stuff. I know, it was.
Well, I got to check that out.
I know, it's really.
Okay. All right. So yes, I think that the cutting of the silver cord is something that happens to you, and it's just called death. Anyway, that you don't get silver scissors, snip, snip, snip. Can you?
Erik wants to say though, when you cut those cords, he's telling me that there's people here saying, if you do that, you're cutting off your lifeline.
Yeah.
Or something. They're letting you know that you're cutting off the oxygen. So it's not like you're doing something you don't know what you're doing, and they accident on that level. When you do that, you know exactly what you did.
Well, how would you cut it? Do you just manifest it by thinking it, or
you separate from it?
How? yank it off with your hand? I mean,
he says because he says it's your thought.
Oh, thought manifested. Okay.
Your thought. Yeah.
Okay. Can you physically touch items when in the astral realm, and can you move them around? That reminds me of the movie Ghost. I have heard of people visiting ancient libraries to learn truths that have been locked away. I wondered if you could actually read a book, for example. Apparently, there's a demon that guards an area in the Vatican from astral travelers. Why? Well, that's another question. But anyway, can you move things like the pages of a book as you travel?
You can read a book, but you don't really physically touch the pages.
You just absorb the knowledge, merge with it, maybe?
I guess the way Erik has shown me, it's like, yes, the book opens and that, but there isn't a physical touch to it.
Okay.
It's your energy. Because he says some of these things that people read or want to get to know better are quite ancient.
Yeah.
And so having a human touch could hurt them.
Yeah.
So it's energetically you're doing this.
Do you see it with your spirit eyes, or do you merge with the energy of the book to absorb the knowledge? Or do you read line for line, like while you're in the astral realm?
No, he says what you do is when you're this book that you're reading or whatever it is, it's like, how would I put it? He says you energetically know what it's saying and you absorb the information. Yeah.
Energy merging. All right. Okay, let me see. Oh, yeah. Let's get back to that. Is there some sort of demon that guards an area in the Vatican from astral travelers? Maybe not a demon, maybe something else.
Not a demon, but what it is they have such. Erik says all around that stuff. They have such stuff around there that it freaks a lot of people out when they're astral traveling, because we still have our humanness with us, as we're traveling. But he says, Erik is showing me there's been one or two who's gotten in there. And that's why we know there's stuff in there that they don't want us to know. Yeah.
Yeah. What is guarding it from astral travelers?
Other entities, other energies.
Negative or benevolent? That we don't want you guys to know this, you're not ready for it, kind of thing. Aliens?
Erik says it's they're he doesn't want to say negative, but because people get into that fear-based mode with that. But it's the darker energy that wants to keep the secret a secret of what's going on over there.
Well, should we know these? Would it be good for us to know? Or are
oh yeah, it's good to know what's in there, because and slowly he says things are coming up to the surface. He goes, eventually we're gonna know what's in there, because they can't hide it forever.
Is it a special library, a room, or probably several places that have these?
Oh, he says there's several, and he says underground, a lot's underground.
Okay. I've got 3 more questions. I've heard of people being injured in the astral realm, and then when they go back to their bodies, they either have a mark or an injured area that's tingling. Can you really be injured physically if you get into trouble on the other side?
Erik says yes, but he says the reason why you can have marks or you got injured or whatever is to let you know you went a bit too far.
Yeah. Okay. Like when you're astral traveling, you bump into a building. Well, that's going to leave a mark. Is it that kind of thing that they're talking about? Having some sort of injury?
No, it's when they go
just going too far.
Yeah, they just like go 2 blocks too far. Like they know that this is amazing, and they go, but I want to know this, because it's almost like they want to know the gossip per se.
Yeah, I would want to. But it's not like you're astral traveling and there's in the realm there are these astral buildings or a tree stump and astral tree in the realm and you trip on it. Could that be it too?
In some places, yes.
Okay. Even though they're not physical, they're still part of the astral realm. It's not a 3D object that you trip on, for example, and injure yourself.
Erik says in some places there are physical stuff. He says it's physical light stuff.
Yeah.
And the bumping into things and getting hurt, though, he says again, is to let you think a little bit further about what you did.
Oh. Okay, apparently when you first leave your body, you have a guide. And there's also a being all in black who is there only to guard your body. Is that true, Erik?
There is something there. There are beings guarding, like, it's not like they're guarding your body, but he says, yeah, you can say guarding your body, protecting you. It's like they're there to stand guard, to take care of and protect until you're ready to come back.
Okay. So do you have to have a guide with you when you first leave?
Erik says you want one.
Oh yeah, okay. But you don't have to. Yeah, you want one.
No, but Erik says you want one because it's new. Now people who are been doing it and experienced and all this other stuff, they don't go out there, they're like, oh, I don't need any help. They know where to call for their guides to help them and move them through.
Call Ghostbusters, Astral Busters. Is the being dressed in black the one that sort of stands by you and makes sure that you don't get into any trouble?
Erik says no.
Okay. Does the guide give you a tour of the universe? That sounds very cool, pretty cool. I guess if you asked him, he could. He, she, it.
Erik says that they can give you, like, they can give you directions of, like, you can go here for this or go there for that, or this is here.
Okay. Okay, 2 more questions, very brief. Can gifted people such as psychics see astral travelers? If they wanted to?
Erik says, yeah. And when he says that, who came into my thought right away was Liz.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, cool. All right, last questions. Are there any irritating symptoms when you get back into your body, like dizziness, nausea, vomiting, headaches? I mean, that are very common that then subside?
Erik says being tired. You can have headaches if not getting, for not getting enough sleep, enough rest.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't feel like you have too much physicalness, your body can be sore or just feel totally exhausted.
Maybe a little disoriented initially.
Erik says that's usually when you first wake up.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Anything else you want to share about astral traveling, Erik?
He says, do your research. Don't just go, okay, I'm going to go do this. Be clear with your intent on why you're wanting to do this.
Protect.
Yeah. And he says it's also good when you're just starting out, have somebody that you really trust to be around. Yeah, that could provide some assistance and help when either you holler out for it or they can see you're having a rough time.
Safe word. Gotta have your safe word.
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Denise Ramon. And you guys check her out in the description box below. Follow. All the following stuff is down there. Just Just do it. Just do it. I love you all. Love you, Erik.
He says, I love you, Mama.
Bye.
Big hugs to you. Bye.
Big hug.